Welcome, Sydney and Luke, to this interview. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to be learning today about Charcot-Marie Tooth Disease, and Sydney's going to be sharing about her experience living with this disease for all of us today. So, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell me three fun facts about both of you?
Okay, I'm Sydney Hodgson. I have Charcot Tooth Disease type 1E. Um, Three interesting facts. I'm in school for public relations and communications. Um, we have two cats together, Eli and Ruth, and my favorite colors are green and yellow.
Nice. Isn't that a song? No, that's blue and yellow. Never mind. Very cool. Thank you. What about you, Luke? Give me some three fun facts.
All right. My name's Luke Cooper. I lived in Ottawa most of my life. I'm in school at Algonquin for restaurant management, and I play guitar and piano.
Oh, nice. That's cool. You play like classical piano, classical guitar? What kind of stuff you play?
No, I like blues and stuff.
Oh, blues is fun.
Hmm.
Very cool. All right. So, Sydney, for people who don't know, can you give like a good snapshot of what Charcot-Marie Tooth disease is?
Sure. It's a condition that is from birth. You can either inherit it from your parents, grandparents, or it can be just a genetic blip that gives it to you. In my case, no one in my family has it. They're not really sure where it came from. Most likely, just a genetic um, blip in the system. So it there's many kinds. There's 1A, 1B, 1C. Like it goes quite a few kinds. 1A and B are quite common. I have type 1E, so it's very rare. My doctors, this was years ago, but their estimate was about like 5 people in Canada have it. I've never met anyone that has it. Um, so it basically is a demyelination process on all your nerves, mainly your peripheral nerves. So the coating on your nerves flakes off over time. So it's a deteriorating condition. So it gets worse over time. Um, I am my kind is one of the more severe and quick deterioration kinds. Like I'm in a power wheelchair full time and I have limited feeling below my knees and in my hands.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That was really good. You explained it so well that felt like textbook, even using myelination. The way you described it was very perfect. So
No
if,
one ever
if have
knows
you
what it is, so I've gotten used to explaining it.
Yeah, the way you explained it so well, and that's really good. So, have you always been in a wheelchair, or is that something that's happened over time?
It happened over time. I always struggled with walking. I used a walker until I was about 8-ish, and then I had a manual chair that I could push myself, and then a chair that was both manual and power, depending on how I was feeling that day. And now I'm in a power chair full time.
Wow, that must have been really hard as a teenager, knowing that you were losing your walking. Like how was that experience for you?
It was definitely tough. I'm glad in a way that I lost um like full walking really young because if it happened later on, I feel like it would have been harder. I was young enough that I could just kind of adapt.
Yeah,
But yeah,
sorry, go
through
ahead.
high school, sorry, through
Mm.
high school it was hard because I had to transition from a push chair to a power chair. Um, it was hard. It's still hard just knowing like that things will progress, but I try to make the best fit.
That was really tough. Thank you for sharing. What is the progression then? Like what do you kind of expect over your lifetime in regards to that?
So because my type is very rare, they don't really have an exact timeline for me. But it is expected that things will, like I will lose more motor function than I already have. I pretty much have no feeling in my feet, and that will most likely kind of spread out my legs. And I have no feeling in one of my hands, and most likely it will happen to the other hand. But they don't really have an exact timeline.
Right, it's kind of different depending on the person.
Yeah, like I'm only 20 and mine is seeming to be quite aggressive. Like things seem to be deteriorating kind of faster than they would expect. So it's kind of hard to know where things will go.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. With your hands, like the one that you can't feel, can you use your hand? Can you use that
I can
hand?
still use it, like I can't feel his hand. Sometimes my pinky doesn't work, but the rest of my fingers do work.
What does that
They're
feel like? Because I mean, I know I've picked something up when it's numb, but even when it's numb, you still feel it, right? What does it feel like to be grabbing something, but you can't feel what you're grabbing? Like, what is that experience like?
I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, it was definitely something to get used to. Like, like, if I, let's say, pick up a can of pop with this hand, sometimes I don't know how hard I'm squeezing, and I can, like, just, like, crunch it. Like it's hard to know how hard I'm, like, holding something, if that makes sense.
But you could be, so say with your feet, if you were to step on a nail, you might not realize you have it, but the nail obviously still does damage, even though you could be stepping on things that you shouldn't be and you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, well, I wear leg braces that go almost up to my knees. So my feet are protected
That's
and
good, yeah.
uh they keep my feet from aligning because it's really common with my condition that your feet kind of curl up. So I've had a surgery to kind of reverse the little bit of curling that started, and my braces kind of keep it flat.
Wow, okay. So that's good. They kind of protect your feet from the degenerative part of the disease then, for the as much as you can.
Not so much the degenerative part, but just how the degeneration can like affect the shape of my
So more
feet.
like the impact then. Yeah, that makes sense. Are they working on a cure for this, or is there hope for a cure at some point?
To be honest, no. Like it's for type A, there are some studies going on. Because I think type A is like one in every 3,000 ish.
Oh, it's that
Uh,
common. I didn't realize
it's
that.
quite
Yeah.
common. Yeah. So they're working on a cure. I wouldn't say a cure, but just like treatment for that. Um, but my kind, there's not really any research just because there's so few people that have it. There's not enough money going towards it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's hard. I guess hopefully if the types have some overlap, they might be able to apply some research across the different types.
Yeah, there's a potential for that. Just so the different kinds have different genes that are the thing causing the issue. So mine is the PNP22 gene for
Right.
type E. So type 1A and B, I'm not sure the exact gene, but it's a totally different gene. But
Oh, okay. That makes sense from a research point of view.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And then you're in school right now, right? I understand.
yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell me about that, what you're studying, what your plans are?
So I'm in school for public relations and communications. So that has to do with a lot of like how like people perceive companies and people and that kind of thing, and crisis management and social media and that kind of thing. Um, Hopefully I'll go either into crisis management or more the event side of things because PR does have a lot of like event planning aspects, and that's kind of it's not where I thought I would like when I joined school, but throughout the schooling I've realized that's kind of where I'm most happy. So
That's really cool. And I understand you're working for Whole Healthcare right now in Carlton Place, right? Can you tell me a little
yeah,
bit about that project?
I'm doing an internship there over the summer. So as of right now, I don't have exact plans, but we'll definitely be doing a campaign of some kind and revamping their social media approach.
Well, that's cool. And can you explain what Whole Healthcare is, just for for the video, for the people watching?
It is um, a healthcare facility, and they do massage therapy, physio, and that kind of thing. But they also sell wheelchairs, walkers, any kind of equipment like that that you need. So it's a really interesting place for me to kind of involve myself with because I do care about that. And I've had some pretty bad experiences with other equipment companies, and they definitely take a more personalized approach, if that makes sense, when
Yeah, that
helping
makes sense.
with a wheelchair or a walker.
Have you experienced problems because the wheelchair wasn't the right measure, like it didn't fit, the measurements were incorrect, like things
Um,
like that?
I find some of the bigger ones, their sales representatives or their caseworkers, you get kind of assigned to someone. With those, they're so overrun and busy because they have so many people that they're just like, here's what you're getting, and you don't really get a choice. You just
Oh,
kind
I
of
see.
try one. If it works, you get it. Um, with Hool, they do more trials, and they do like you can even rent something to try it for more than a day or two, just so you know you're getting the right thing.
Oh, that's really helpful because you almost need to like go about your life in the wheelchair to
Yeah,
see what it's like.
it's really hard to guess if something will work for you. Um, so it makes it really easy because you get to see if it works in your everyday life because it really is an extension of yourself. So you want to be the most comfortable you can.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and Jeremy's so excited about I saw his all of his stuff a couple months ago. He's so excited about he's got so many different types of chairs going on and different types of walkers and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a really
they're
nice place.
filling up their space with lots of different options.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you and Luke, how did you guys meet? How long have you been together?
We've been together about 2 years. We met on a dating app actually.
Nice.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, we met on the app, and then we had our first date at the Black Tartan in Carlton Place.
Oh, that's cool. You
Yeah.
guys knew pretty quick that you really liked each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
quick.
Hmm.
that's really cool. Oh man. Yeah, had you ever heard about Charcot Marie Tooth Disease before you met Sydney, Luke?
No, never before.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd never heard of that either. Yeah, and then I guess we've talked about most of the stuff, but what is something you want people to know about Charcot Marie Tooth Disease? And then a follow-up would be, what would be your dream for the future of people who have the same disease as you?
Um, I guess people just I guess the main thing is just they know it exists. Like most people don't even know it's a thing, and it does, like the more common types do affect a lot of people. So I think just um the more knowledge out there about it is really all that I can ask. Um and they do CMT does fall under the Muscular Dystrophy Society, umbrella of different conditions. So if anyone is wanting to like donate or just kind of think about the future of research and stuff, Muscular Dystrophy Society is a good outlet to research.
Right, and then you as an individual can kind of advocate for more research, right?
Yeah,
You can get friends and family and even community to push for more research into your particular type.
yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really great thing too. Especially with one like when there's only 5 people in Canada, you need other people to kind of write and say we need more research into this.
Yeah, like that's an estimate, but it's definitely low. Like there's not many people with my kind. So the more people that know about it and want to research it is the better.
No, that's really good to know, and I'll look more into the Muscular Society too, because I've just heard about this a couple weeks ago and was just reading about it. And there's actually a lot of information on the internet too. Just some YouTube channels too with some girls sharing about their life. I don't know if you've seen a lot of those, but yeah.
Bethany, there's a author, Bethany, I can't think of her name, Bethany something. She wrote a book about kind of her life with CMT. Um, it's a really good book, and she's a really good advocate. She makes YouTube videos and that kind of thing. Yeah,
Oh, that's really cool. I'll look up her book and put it when I upload the video, I'll put the link in the description.
yeah. I'll text you the name of the book.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, that's it for all my questions. I really appreciate you coming on to Zoom and sharing your story.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think,
Thank.
yeah, I'm very honored to have you on here, and I think you're a really courageous person, and the way you've handled this and your outlook on life is really positive. And you're moving forward. You're going to school. You've fallen in love. Like you're doing all the things that sometimes people think you can't do when you have a disability, right? But you're proving that it's just it's just a part of your life, but it's not your life, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
your life is actually quite just like everybody else, right? And that I think that's one of the most important things people need to see with these kind of videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you still have a completely full life, even if you do have a disability or struggles, you can still work around it and you can still have a really full, happy life.
You can make it work. And I think like 13, 14-year-old kids, like kids especially, when they see somebody like you who's a bit older than them and you're doing really well, it's really helpful. Because that's like the hardest when you're a kid or a teenager and you're coming to terms with this and you're that's your comparison phase of life too. But when you see somebody who's ahead of you doing really well, I think it's really important and it's really
Yeah,
encouraging too.
that age, I didn't have anyone that I could like look to that like understood what I was going through, but it definitely would have been helpful. So
Yeah, now you as an adult, you can be that person
I
to maybe
so
somebody who might see this video or see you.
yeah,
Yeah. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming on and sharing with me.
of course. Thanks for having us.
Mhm.